Welcome to episode 79 of A Message From. We're your hosts. I'm Alyson.
I'm Edward.
And I have a wee bit of a confession for you.
Oh.
It's not. I'm making it more exciting than it is. The reason I moved up our appointment today is because...
Okay, yeah.
Is because I really want to go to Target.
To get... Just
CBD?
In general.
I mean, there are like one or two small things I need from there, but just in general, I'm feeling it. I'm like, I gotta go. So I was like, I'm sitting here. Let's get this show on the road. I need to go to Target.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that you suggested the original time.
Well, I did. And the time it's been working for us lately, but today I got the urge. This afternoon. I was like, Target, here I come.
Okay, well, I'm glad that we are here now doing this earlier than expected so that you can get on over to Target and buy some things you need and probably a lot of things you don't.
Exactly. I mean, that's what Target's for.
It is. Actually, at Target, I got like tank tops. By their brand, like Goodfellow or something. Yeah,
so they've went through like a couple of rebrands over the last couple years. And so their like store brand names are a bit different now. But
yeah, quite nice. I like them a lot.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I have quite a bit of the men's clothes from them.
Oh yeah, Fellow. I did not put that together. Is it like
Goodfellow?
Goodfellows? What is the
I think it's still Goodfellow.
Good Lady?
No, it's not Good Lady. I think it's the same name for the women's, but I have a lot of the men's clothes too.
Okay. I guess fellow doesn't necessarily connotate like man, right?
It does, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but like your fellow member of whatever.
The Target shopping community.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, you're a good fellow to Target, but also like a fellow is like a dude, right?
I think so.
Fine looking fellow if you were like in the 1800s or something. Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's a good thing we're not.
Yeah. Honestly, there'd be no Target.
There'd be no podcast. There'd be I would say not very many rights, but there's not a lot of rights going on now anyway. Like a smidge less rights. A
smidge less rights. Alone would be happening, but it just wouldn't be broadcast on TV. Like everyone would literally be living alone.
Yes, which is actually funny though, because I feel like back then also no one lived alone because everyone lived in some like shithole city slum working at a factory job at the age of like 6. True.
But
if you lived in the woods, you'd be alone.
I saw this yikes tweet yesterday, and it was like, when I first read it, I'm like, sarcasm, clearly. It said something about like the glory of like child labor days or something. And there was a picture of like a child, obviously like laboring, like filthy, you know, in his little work with like with an axe or something. But then the more I went, it had picture after picture after picture of just kids like dirty working in factories and stuff. And then I was like, is this sarcasm?
Like has the bit gone too far?
It was a bit much. But back to Alone.
Yeah.
So this week, Coulter was like the star of the show, but
you're gonna have to refresh my mind.
It had me dead because, well, at one point he's like on the camera and he's filthy. His face is covered in dirt. And I'm like, Coulter, no one else is this dirty. Like,
I was thinking the same thing. He's like, it's so crazy. We don't see like your face is falling. I was like, you're constantly recording yourself. Like, how are you not seeing yourself?
How are you the only one that's just like covered in soot and everyone else is like
a Victorian child?
He looked like a Victorian child who had just crawled out of the mines.
Yeah, or out of a chimney.
That too. But the other thing that got me about him was when he found that dead bird floating in the lake. And he gets it out, right? and he cuts it open and there's all these worms inside of it. And then
in the intestines, yeah.
Yeah, and you know how like they always put the little like info notes at the bottom, and it's like
at the bottom, yeah.
Fun fact, eating parasitic worms can cause dysentery. And then the next scene is him like holding up the bird that he's about to eat.
Oh God, that was actually, I remember that was funny. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
No one went home.
No.
This is what, episode 9?
Yeah, but there's only 4 left, so.
I can't believe there's still 4 left. Like, that must mean, like, something interesting is going to happen in the next couple ones. I guess someone's going home soon. Thought it was going to be Biko, but the producers really tricked us there with that one.
They did. Yeah. It was close. He was, like, crying. He was really confused by his emotions. I was like, Biko, come on.
Yeah.
But
that was my big takeaway, was, like, the whole time I thought Biko was going home, and then he, like, didn't. And I was then mad at the producers for doing their job.
They're setting it up. It's either going to be him or it's going to be Teresa, whose idiot self somehow,
What did she do?
Like, she has had these little fish baskets from the beginning, right? But
kind of, yeah.
Like, she's had a fish basket for a long time, and now she's building her second one or whatever. They never work. They always end up, like, washing ashore, and then she's like, oh, what is my fish basket doing on the shore? I'm like, Teresa, you almost gave yourself hypothermia and then lit yourself on fire the last time you tried to put a basket out there. Like, she consistently fails with these fish baskets, but, like, doesn't learn her lesson.
The fishing is rough, but I don't think anyone's fish basket has worked. I feel like we've seen 14 fish baskets, the majority made by Teresa. But, like, no one's has worked.
No, but Coulter's, now that they're allowed to put out those fancy nets, those fancy gill nets, Coulter hauled in those 2 huge fish.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the boat. The boat is it's the boat.
That's why.
Because no one else can do anything.
He could put them out so much deeper than anyone else because he didn't even have to get wet.
Yeah. And, well, that was the other thing, too. Of course, it was like, what, day 45, they can all put their gill nets out. And then, like, the next scene was, like huge winds, like, choppy lake. And I was like, this is just, like, torture. I don't know how there's going to be 4 more episodes. I mean, I guess the only people who could win are going to be Coulter or Clay.
But Clay's having a hard time fishing as well.
He is, unless he, like, hunts another animal.
He's got a bow and arrow. He's a good hunter, so.
Yeah, he's got a bow and arrow. Yes, this is true. They all do. Don't they all not have bows and arrows?
Don't they all?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't know if Coulter has one. I haven't seen his, but, like.
Does Biko?
Seen the other ones. I think Biko does, yeah.
Why isn't he using it?
Because there's no animals to hunt. Like, finding that deer was, I think, like, kind of surprising.
There were a lot of birds. Someone caught a rabbit once.
Right, but I think in terms of
skin colds,
it's like not as frequent, I think, as they were all expecting it to be. Kind of.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are not as frequent as they are expecting it to be, your mother sent us an email. And
so I haven't read it. So the funny thing is, because we share all these accounts, right? So if, like, one of us gets to something before the other, like, the notification goes away.
Yeah.
You get to things so quickly.
Especially me.
Whereas I'm like, I'm busy doing other things. And so, like, especially with the emails, like, if you open up an email, the push notification disappears from my phone. So I didn't know we had an email.
No, and it's not no one's fault other than the fact that I am just always on my phone. So I'm always seeing these. I'm surprised you replied to that one Instagram comment at the same time I did. Yeah. Did you notice that? But it looked fine.
I always get so excited. I'm like, ooh, I got here first. But then I open it up and it'll be like, I get the notification like a few minutes late, I think. I never get them.
What about TikTok? I don't get any of the notifications. Do you get them?
I do,
I have them turned on, but I don't get them.
I get TikTok notifications.
Oh, so that's all you then. For some reason, they won't work for me.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I changed a lot of the settings for notifications on TikTok. So I wonder if it should be different for you, though.
Yeah, I think it's because my main one is, like, I usually am logged into that. I don't stay logged into the...
Could be.
Anyway.
Anyway.
This is not important.
Moving on
to your mother's email. She emailed essentially about the casino, about baby's first time at the casino. I'm not going to say how much money she won, but she did a very good job playing 3-card poker, she said. And then she said, I would love to have you sitting next to me so I could teach you a few card games. You'd love it. Money emoji. Sent from my iPhone. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I told you,
she always wins.
But I thought she was playing slots. She's out here playing with the
plays
chords.
Actual chords.
That's what I want to learn.
Her and my dad play cards. I don't know how to do that. I just know how to push a button.
Well, we all have our strengths and weaknesses.
That we do.
So there's that. That is just a quick aside about that.
A weakness of mine. Get this.
Today's the days of segues.
Yes, it is. So, speaking of TikTok, I'm on TikTok the other day. I'm flipping through, and this video comes up of this guy who he started this account or whatever to like help little kiddies out with their GCSEs. So GCSEs are like in the UK, like it's like they're kind of like exit exams, I would say. Like you have to do exams and you get like the GCSEs in like maths and science and whatever. And then like
it's like mandatory APs.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
So anyway, he created this like channel or whatever to help kids with their maths GCSEs. And so I'm like, I couldn't just flip. I couldn't move past this video. And he's going through and he's doing like all these fraction problems and like reducing things. And then there's like things to the negative power and you got to like inverse stuff. And like, I couldn't look away. But I also, and I know I've done this before. Like I learned all this in school, but there was something that I was getting hung up on that I couldn't understand. And then I'm like, why am I watching this? I don't need this, but I couldn't look away. And it was like making me annoyed that I was like, didn't remember how to do this anymore.
Wait, so what was the reason you kept watching it?
I literally don't know, but I couldn't flip past it. I just realized after I had been sitting there for so long watching this man do
on
math
repeat.
Equations.
The same math equation?
Well, no, because it was alive. You know how sometimes they have the lives?
Those.
So you could just keep watching forever. I could have been watching this math equation for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Bleak.
I couldn't look away.
You got trapped.
I got trapped.
So here's the thing is, I've noticed this because I work with students, right? In a foreign country. And sometimes they'll like talk to me about their other subjects, right? Especially when I teach like kids who happen to be a little bit older. Obviously, I'm not really talking about math with my second graders.
Right.
I thought they're doing their multiplication, which is like earlier than I learned it. But I've noticed that like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I just don't remember how to do this or they're learning a completely different way.
They're learning a completely different way is the thing. Because with my mom working at an elementary school, whoever they is, the national education people or whatever, came up with a completely new way to teach kids math. I can't do it the way they do it now.
Yeah,
I'm like, why are you like drawing lines and why are there like numbers in like corners? And I'm like,
yeah. I will say I like tried to do the math. Like I remember it being a division problem or something. And I was like, oh, this is how we learned it. And I like started to write it out and I was like, I actually don't remember how to like do longhand division from like
it's hard,
fourth
right?
grade or something. Yeah.
When was the last time you did that? It's been so long.
It's stupid.
Everyone's got a calculator. You got a calculator on your phone. You got one on your computer. You got one on your other computer. I literally have like 4 computers in this home. Why?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you need to know it so that you like understand
how to do it and what goes into it and all that jazz. And I'm not gonna lie, like I have legitimately used algebra equations in my job before.
Well, you work with
but like I work with numbers, so it's fine. Like I'm not out here doing like negative fractions and stuff.
I don't know. To me, you could be with your job. I really don't know.
Could be
possible. It's possible. We have to talk about BeReal.
Okay.
Oh, because it's been on this list for 3 weeks. I keep forgetting.
Oh, it has? I haven't even noticed it.
Yeah. Sorry, my contact is whack again today. It's like every 4 days. The one over here just hates my eye. Anyway, BeReal. You and I were on BeReal. What?
We were on the cutting edge of BeReal. No one was talking about BeReal when we were on it.
We quit in June. Mm-hmm. And that's when I deleted it off my phone. You deleted it off your phone. It was literally just you and me just posting. I mean, not in the whole world, but like in terms of people I knew, it was just you and me. Mm-hmm. Our friend Alex got in it a little bit, but she didn't really post too much. And that's it. Like there were some people who were on my like little, people you may know situation.
Me
but, like,
too.
No one was adding me back. No one was posting.
I didn't add anyone because I was like, I don't know if I want to add people. So like I could see them on my contacts. They could see me on theirs, but we just were like mutually without speaking about it, not adding each other.
Right. I was adding a few, not many. But no one was posting regardless. So we deleted, right? All of a sudden, I start seeing, like, this is about like a month ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, BeReal memes on Twitter, right?
Twitter, yeah. It got popular finally.
It got popular again. And now everyone, and I'm now back on it. Because all my friends are on it now. I'm back on. And you want to know who else is back on and actually posting every day? Not every day, but most. Alex is on. Yes, I'm calling her out right now.
Rude. I'm gonna text her as soon as we're done.
Yeah. So get back on. It is very fun now that other people are on it. Like it was fun when you and I did it.
It's not just the two of us literally sitting at the same position every single day.
Yeah.
Posting the same photo.
Yeah. So it's definitely a lot more fun. You should get back on it. I wonder how long it'll last, but it's, I keep forgetting to bring it up to tell you this because I knew you were going to like be so, not mad,
so
but
annoyed.
like.
I'm so annoyed.
That now all of a sudden it's like everyone's using it again.
Of course. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to go download BeReal again, I guess. And we'll catch you soon.
Hello. Edward here. Just wanted to say thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to both myself and Alyson. And it would mean even more if you sent us a message at 202-630-4509 or a message from pod@gmail.com. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and throw us a rate and review. 5 stars always feels good. And check us out on amfpod.com for all the little extra content that we have. Now let's get back into it.
Welcome back. As always, we hope you enjoyed that lovely break. We hope you downloaded BeReal. Find us or don't. Don't find us. Never mind.
If you have our numbers, then add me. But if you don't, don't.
So we have a message from Scott, who is with Turning Up the Heat podcast. Mm-hmm. And he asked us what our thoughts are on our thoughts or our experiences on invisible illnesses like depression, anxiety, but particularly CRPS, which is complex regional pain syndrome.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I had never heard of CRPS before this message.
Same.
Yeah. So we've done a bit of research, and
a smidge.
You're going to give us like a quick synopsis of this.
Sure. Yeah. You know what this feels like? This feels like when you're like in your seminar or you're like in your course in university and the teacher's like, okay, now it's like so-and-so's turn to like, do their presentation or something. And you're just like, oh boy, here we go. Like I'm nervous for no reason.
Don't be nervous.
That's the vibe I
We're
got.
learning here.
We're learning. We're all learning and growing. All right, so I did find some stuff about CRPS specifically. It is, there's like 2 types of it, type 1 and type 2. I don't know. There's that. All right. Mm-hmm. It's more commonly referred to as causalgia. See, I can't Causalgia, which comes from the Greek for, and now I'm going to find it in these notes. It comes from the Greek for heat and pain, aka burning pain.
Oh.
Which is kind of what it feels like. Mm-hmm. So CRPS is like a neurological disorder that can produce long-lasting, intense pain. It kind of feels like a fiery burning, which would explain the whole Greek root of it. So I don't know what those Greek words are because they are written in what I found in the Greek alphabet, and I cannot read that. So you can Google it on your own. How it's pronounced. So it's like apparently something that happens or that can be caused after an injury or some sort of traumatic event to your peripheral nerve, to a peripheral nerve, which is a type of nerve that goes through your spine all the way up to your brain.
This is wild.
Nerves are, I don't know. I don't know too much about the nervous system, but you've seen a few of those like little pictures that are just like if you took everything but the nerve system out, and it's just like wires. Specifically, my wires are so long.
Yours are very long. It's interesting because I've heard of another like nerve pain disorder called neuropathy. And so I guess I don't know how that's different from this because I thought that was also like a burning pain.
Maybe it's in how the sort of pain manifests or starts to become or starts happening to a person. This seems like it said somewhere that maybe I didn't write this part down, which is going to make me sad. But I read something that said, and not verbatim, that CRPS or causalgia like almost always happens after like certain types of surgeries, like botched surgeries, in which like you're sort of operated on, and then like the extremity of whatever that is closest to, that place that the operation was closest to, like that's where it comes from. So it seems like the cause of causalgia was like pretty clear in whatever journal this was. I was reading the quick synopsis of. So maybe it has to do with that.
I guess, but I mean, clearly, obviously, we don't know much about this, and we've not done extensive research. But one thing that I did come across, or that I kind of started thinking about after, talking with Scott and reading this message and things, is okay. So people talk more about invisible illnesses a lot now than they did in the past. Like, I don't know if that's something you come across, but this is definitely not the first time I've heard people talk about invisible illnesses and how we need to be more vocal about them and like more understanding. Because obviously, like, they're invisible. So you look at someone and you don't know that they're suffering from, whatever it may be, chronic pain, no matter what the cause is.
That's what the whole vibe.
But then something that I was reading was also saying, like, so these invisible illnesses obviously are like anything not outwardly visible to others. So even like diabetes could be an invisible pain. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me because like we talk about that so much. Like everyone talks about diabetes all the time. When I think of like invisible illnesses, like that never would have come to mind. I automatically think like chronic pain syndromes. Like I didn't know that this was one of them. CRPS. Like I didn't know.
You were thinking invisible in terms of quite literally invisible, like you can't see it, and invisible in terms of like the poetic invisible, like no one's talking about it, like they are invisible to like the conscious.
Exactly, because it's like I feel like if you have diabetes, everyone knows you have diabetes because it's something that's so commonly spoken about that you've brought it up in conversation before. Whereas like when we talk about invisible illnesses and like the issues surrounding them, I feel like it's the stigma. Yeah, it's usually like maybe people don't believe you. Like you call off work because you have this chronic fatigue or chronic pain or something. But it's like when you're in work, people look at you and they don't see anything different about you or off about you or wrong. So they just think that you're like faking.
Right. Because it's not. Yeah, I know what you mean. So speaking of invisible disabilities and illnesses, I say disability because that was in the quote that I found from some source. Do you know that an estimated 10% of people in the United States have a medical condition that could be considered a type of invisible disability.
That's a lot of people.
That's like a lot, right? 10%
That's a
is like
large
a lot,
percentage. Yeah.
right? I don't know too much about stats and percentages and things, but that seems like a high one.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of people.
Right? How many people live in the United States? Are we about to do math on the podcast?
We're about to do math on the podcast. How many people live in the United States?
I would ask Siri, but I'm sure he doesn't know.
Probably not. We've got 329.5 million.
Okay.
So
what's 10% of that?
What's that? Like 329,000 people?
Sure. I have to take your word for that. I would have to do literally math.
Or is it? Oh my God. I don't know how to do math. This is how I always say I don't do math on the weekends.
It's Friday.
It's my job. It's Friday after work. It's
fair.
The weekend.
It's the freaking weekend. All right. Should I just do it on the thing? What did you say? 329 million?
It's 32.9 million.
Oh, you were wrong.
Well, as soon as I said it out loud, I was like, that's not right. That number is too small. It's got to be million.
That's a lot of people.
Right?
So many people.
That's so many people. And it's like I said, it's something that people talk about more often today, obviously, than they did like 20, 30 years ago, but still not talked about enough, or something that's affecting that many people.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how candid all my friends have been about, I think a lot of when you see invisible illness, no one's thinking like IBS. Right. Although everyone I know has IBS. But I think most people think like anxiety, depression, like things like that. I'm trying to think how candid most of my friends have been more recently, since like, high school or even university. About
what I come across much more often is that I'm not having like deep conversations with people about their anxiety or depression or
so you're having very shallow connections with people.
But no,
that's what it sounds like.
What I come across more often is people like casually mentioning these things, whether it be like in a post on social media or like in casual conversation, like it just comes out as like a normal casual topic.
Wait, what? Who was just casually like someone just making a joke about depression?
No, not making jokes.
Like about their own depression.
I think you make jokes.
Okay, that's like most people I know is like making jokes about anxiety, depression.
No, I just mean like people that I've come across that whether they deal with anxiety or depression or therapy or whatever, I feel like they're much more candid about it, and it just comes to light in a more casual way. It's not like some big announcement like, oh, I'm suffering from this, and I like it just somehow comes out in a like more casual way. Yeah.
I feel like I'd find a Facebook post that's like, I'm suffering from blah, blah, blah. Because it seems like the type of posting going on there now.
Yeah. That's on Facebook a lot.
But I wonder if those people are so candid about it because they've gone through the certain, I don't say treatment. That's not right. But like therapy, and they've done like a lot of work to like,
get to the point where they accept it and are comfortable sharing. Yeah, I'm sure.
I feel like a lot of people don't want to do that. Hence the invisibility. I feel like we're making points here.
Bring it back full circle.
Full circles. Full little circles. Little.
Mentee circles.
But yeah, I think everyone I know is a bit more candid about it. I think maybe I'm having deeper conversations with people that I know than you are, apparently. But...
yeah, probably so. I don't know.
But I don't know. I guess I'm not seeing people talk about it. I guess like Twitter. I'm trying to think like where I would see like strangers, quote unquote, like casually bringing it up.
Mostly on social media. Yeah,
I say it's on social media.
Twitter,
no one I know
Facebook.
like casually is bringing it up. I don't think. Unless someone's being like candid on a podcast and I'm like listening to it.
Yeah.
But it's always after the fact. No one ever's talking about it, mid-fact. Which I was depressed all through February and well into March, and I didn't talk to anybody. Famously.
And here you are.
Here I am, still not really talking to anybody. But not as depressed as I was in February.
Improvement.
I would say I wasn't like clinically diagnosed with depression, but it definitely, checked off many a lists. I'm sure if I would have taken a little online quiz, I'm sure it would have told me what I had figured out, well into the end of February. When I was like, why am I not talking to anybody for 3 weeks? Oh, why am I not leaving my house for, 3 weeks? Oh, so I will say though, anxiety. That one, wowie. Do you have anxiety? Is that a weird question to ask? I feel like you don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
There is stuff that bothers me, and on occasion...
There's like a level of...
Yeah. And on occasion, there will be something that I find myself, like, ruminating on, but it's not to that level where I would call it anxiety. I recognize in myself where I'm like, why am I feeling bad? And I'll say, like, why are you feeling bad? Why are you in a bad mood right now? What have you done everything you can to fix that situation? And if so, then whatever, it's done. Let it go, because you can't do anything else. Now, if you haven't done anything to fix that situation, then do what you can do and then be done with it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to think. I want to segue into this. I essentially realized more recently that my anxiety has gotten so much worse purely because I live abroad. Does that make sense? Yeah. There's like, I think it's like something that like I definitely was experiencing when I was like studying abroad in like 2013, and I was like young. And I was like definitely anxious, you like don't want to seem like an idiot. You don't want to do this. Like you want to seem like a local, blah, 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 fit in.
That
practice.
Has absolutely, I will say, intensified. Yeah. And I noticed the difference when we were together between when we first met and when we were together for like a month last summer.
Oh, okay. Then there you go. Voila. Case study. Me. What's the word for say experiment, but that's not right. Evidence. Voila. There it is. Yeah, I realized that more recently as well. I was like, oh, I'm like riddled with anxiety like all the time because of just like living in another country and like not wanting to seem like a dum-dum, And I think that it's just gotten so much worse over the years, and I just like never realized it to the point where I won't even like do anything. Like I won't leave because I'm like, well, why? When I could like just not look dumb in my apartment, obviously.
Get out there and look dumb. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's one of the things where it's like, you do it once or twice and it's like fine after that. But I did have to have this conversation back when I was in therapy. What was that? 2021?
Was it 21?
Yes, it was 2021. Yes, that was last year. It feels like 14 years ago.
It really does.
Was going to start doing volleyball, right? And it was like the first one or something, and I was like, I don't really want to go anymore. And it was the whole like, why? Talk it through. Realize it doesn't matter. They all are new too. Blah, 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 blah. And it was all true. But I went once and it was fine, right? Did I not say goodbye on my very last day because I got too anxious that I was not able to say it at the right time? And so then I just left and said goodbye, but didn't actually say I was never coming back because I was traveling to the United States? Yes, that did happen. Do I feel terrible about it? 100%.
Have you spoken to any of those people since then?
I haven't returned because I just like haven't had the time, so no, I haven't. But also the last day was like a bunch of people that I actually didn't even play with that frequently. So
it's fine.
Yeah, it's not. I definitely should have said goodbye to the trainer. But
yeah, I didn't think about that.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure they said, oh, he had to go back to the US because they saw me on Instagram, you know. I've chatted on Instagram with a few of them. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah.
God, what did I do? I did something similar recently.
You Irish goodbyed.
I did, and I was like, oh, that was kind of mean. I should have like said something. But you see, now I don't even remember where it was, who it was with. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, I will take this to my grave.
After that day, I was like, oh, wow, I probably should have, that wasn't very nice of me. But
I will say, if anybody
when did
who
it
I
happen?
played beach volleyball with in Madrid, who most of you, I think, speak English, I just want to say, I'm so sorry for not saying goodbye when I left in October last year. Or November. End of October
I hope
of
they
2021. I'm so sorry. Look forward to playing again. Although I don't live near that court anymore, so it's probably not going to happen because it'll just be a very far commute. So there's that. I think we lost the thread there a little bit towards the end-ish.
We lost the plot, but we also found out more about ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you too can find out. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Scott, so much for sending in that message. We don't usually get that deep. Apparently, we found out that Alyson never gets that deep with anybody she knows. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to discuss this. You can check out Scott's podcast. What the fuck is it called?
Did you say turd?
No, I was say turn up the heat, but I wasn't sure it was turning
up the heat.
You can check out Scott's podcast, Turning Up the Heat, wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can get at us if you would like to send in a message at 202-630-4509 or a message from pod@gmail.com if you'd rather write in or you live outside of the United States and you don't want to rack up a phone bill. Check us out on amfpod.com for extra content and all the social media links. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at a message from _ on Twitter, rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And I don't think there's anything else that we're going to ask you to do, right?
Right, because it was a long list.
It's a long list, but I'm starting to forget what's in it. And I think that's everything.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Covered it all. That's
and
everything.
If you're missing anything, check out the show notes where you will also find the links to Scott's podcast. So
exactly.
Voila. And I always write them, and they're very funny.
They're good.
They're good. I'm proud of them.
I've thought about it, and I'm like, I can't come up with this stuff that you come up with in the show notes. I'll admit it.
Oh, there we go.
It's not my strong suit.
Lots of admitting happening here today.
So many confessions.
And that's it for today. So goodbye.
Bye.